Hey everyone, it's the Diplomat coming to you from the USA and coming to you with part 11 of the Chris Watts Discovery read-through. We're here on Discovery page 130, starting off with Officer Walsh's handwritten notes. Endangered person, search warrants. PORs, his work phone, his personal phone, May 25th through August 15th. In quotes, documents obtained so far in the investigation provide an estimated beginning of an intimate relationship evidenced by written communications between Christopher Watts and his mistress on or about June 8, 2018. As a result, your something, I can't make out that word, is seeking a production of records with a reasonable time span of approximately 2 weeks prior to said date, or May 25, 2018. Until the verified date of recovery of bodies on August 15th, 2018. So obviously they're looking to go back a couple weeks before Chris started talking with his mistress to see if there was more information prior. I'm surprised only 2 weeks. Maybe that's policy. Next handwritten notes. Once phone data comes in, check August 13th. Parked a couple blocks away for 4 minutes. At 14:01 hours at 6507 Black Mesa Road prior to meeting Coonrod. So that's good police work where they're going to look at and see if there was, what he was communicating, if anything, when he was parked there for those 4 minutes. So next is supplemental report from Officer Albert. I'll just zoom in a little bit. There we go. This is from August 22nd at 18:10. That's when it was written. On August 19th, 2018, at approximately 1100 hours, the Frederick Police Department received 4 emails from email address Family Heating. The emails were sent to the department's email address. I reviewed the narrative of the first email, and it reads exactly as follows. I don't know her with helpful, but my ex-caregiver husband works for a company she calls ASCO. I can only assume it's the company Chris Watts worked for. She said she was having an on and off affair with one of the guys that recently was dismissed, and her husband was up for his job. She is very promiscuous, and that is not out of character. She said a guy named Chris she'd been talking to coming back. This was back in May. They spoke through the Calculator private message app of phones. The woman's name is Heidi. It just sounded all too familiar not to share, as this really sounded like the guy she spoke of. She said he was married, had 2 kids. She wasn't looking for anything serious, but most of these men are with her. She also talks to them on Facebook, but mostly the hidden text app. This may be the affair that is said that be something you may want to check out. Heidi lives in Falcon, Colorado, but has slept with, by her own account, half the company and used to work there. She also has been seen with Randy, utility workers, and tattoo artists, and many others. But when I saw this and that he worked for ASCO, as they call it, I knew I needed to say something. It's worth a check. She may by now have erased any messages, but if you have his phone, I'd check for that app. It's a calculator, but if you put a special code in it, it becomes a text app. Good luck, and may this poor family rest in peace. That's a really interesting email. So much of it sounds like it could be related, but obviously this name is Heidi. Who knows? If there were other affairs going on, we just don't know. But one of the interesting things that I found from this is that I had only thought that calculator app he was using was for storing pictures, not for texting. But apparently it becomes an actual text app as well, per that email. Sent from my iPhone, end. The email is hard to read and at times does not make sense. Additionally, there was no contact info attached, i.e. name, phone number, address, etc. At 12:21 hours, the second email reads as follows. Sorry, I'm partly blind. My typing skills are horrible. Hope you got the gist. End. The following 2 emails show a snapshot of contact information for a Dan and the last name, superintendent of ASCO, and also the contact information for ASCO, a pipe and fabrication company that appears to be a subcontractor for Anadarko. So apparently ASCO and Anadarko seemingly were tied, where people that worked for one could know folks from the other. I printed out hard copies of all the emails and placed them in the case file. Nothing further at this time. Next is supplemental report. Kenneth Dole, August 27th, 1429. On August 27, 2018, at approximately 13:15 hours, Sergeant Bedsall asked Officer Dole to respond to 6432 Saratoga Trail and talk with Jason Evans. Jason was provided a flash drive to download videos from August 13th between 13:15 hours and 14:10 hours. Jason downloaded the videos onto the flash drive. Jason said that the company that he has the cameras through is Arlo. Jason said the timestamp on the video was the file name. Jason said Arlo uses the Epoch Unix time code. Jason said if you put the file name into an Epoch converter, that it would give you the date and time the video was taken. Jason said that the video footage that he provided is the only footage available from the cameras. Jason said on the video, with a time of 14:01 hours, you can see a gray truck heading north on Saratoga Trail. Jason said the other video activations are of wasps that flew onto the cameras. Officer Dole will place the flash drive in evidence. The video with the truck was uploaded to evidence.com. Okay, moving on to Discover page 134. Supplemental report, Officer Bedsall, August 28th, 10:57. I was on duty the day of August 13th, 2018. Throughout the course of this case unfolding, I helped in making sure the interview room video system was functioning. There was a malfunction of the camera in interview room 1. The camera stopped operating about 10 to 15 minutes prior to Chris Watt's arrival at the PD on August 14th. The audio was still working. I recommended to the investigative team that the interview be moved to interview room number 2, as that camera was functioning properly. Several interviews took place over the following days in both rooms. The camera in room number 1 continued to go in and out throughout the entire incident. When the camera goes out, there is still audio, but the video is black. Beginning August 20th, I worked to download the video from the interview room system to local servers. I then converted the videos to a usable format. The videos were then uploaded to evidence.com and renamed for easier identification. The videos have then been disseminated to the investigative team and the district attorney's office on an as-needed basis. So, this may not seem like a lot, but first I just want to commend Officer Bob Bedsall. You probably have not received a lot of credit, but thank you for taking care of this and recommending to move that interview. It's very interesting. The camera stopped operating about 10 to 15 minutes prior to Chris arriving. So if it was functioning, he may have been in room number 1 and the footage may have cut out. It's kind of like a little, who knows what you want to call that, divine intervention, Shanann intervention, making sure that that video was taken. Pretty awesome. Discovery page 135, supplemental report, Officer Dave Egan, August 29th, 9:13. In the early morning of August 14th, 2018, I received an email from Sergeant Bakes advising of a missing persons call that officers on his shift had been working on. The email advised that the victim in this case and her 2 daughters had been missing and that the circumstances were suspicious. At about 0800 hours on the 14th, I arrived at the Frederick Police Department and immediately met with Detective Baumover, who advised me that the victim was still missing and had not been accounted for. Detective Baumover briefed me on the circumstances and we began to formulate a plan for the investigation. Shortly after 0900, I established an incident command room at the police department and began to gather and coordinate resources. I continued coordination throughout the investigation and worked with assisting agencies. The incident command room was operational until Friday afternoon on August 17th. On August 29th, I submitted 44 pages of handwritten notes, scraps of paper with notes, and other investigative documents to Evidence Supervisor Purcell. Nothing further at this time. On page 136, I'll rotate this for you. We have a picture of Survey 319. And I don't know if this is actually Chris who wrote these letters here. It may have been. And you can actually see, I think this down here is the bed sheet, I believe. And these are from August 15th, 5:56 p.m. And here's another one. It looks like the same picture. I'll rotate back here. And move on to Discovery page 138. This is a Frederick Police Department investigative activity report. So all these entries are from August 14th, and then I'll mention the time here and the activity. So at 15:04, again on August 14th, Holly had a Facebook message read this morning. 1500, Crystal lives in Windham Hill at 11:20 a.m. morning, heard gunshot or loud car backfire, concerned her enough to take picture of the clock. At 1500 hours, Alan has cadaver dogs that are amazing, offering for free. At 14:45, Jamie, I guess that's Chris's sister, was talking to media, stated she shouldn't be talking, and hung up. It says Jamie Watts. Huh. Mother of Shanann, 15:15 hours. Mother of Shanann called, really wants luggage upstairs searched, has been untouched since trip. That's just an interesting kind of contrast here, right? Between one family member versus another family member. And, what their thinking was at the time. Same day, 30 minutes apart. Discovery page 139. So this is the start of a number of handwritten notes, and I'm going to try to touch on certain ones. They actually some of them are very difficult to read, so I encourage you to go back if you can and look at these if you want to on your own, because again, some of them are very difficult, and it makes it not for a great listening experience. So I will talk to some of the key ones, and especially those I can make out. This is Officer Egan. So a vigil at Friday night. We have the word status and CBI written a number of times on the left. We have Vivint video system info and something illegible. I know there's been a lot about the Vivint video. We don't know the model necessarily. Maybe if we do, then I certainly don't know if there was a camera, whether it was on, disabled, whether they have video or not. So can't really comment much more on that. But it certainly is possible that they have much more video than we know of. House and neighbor, and then it talks about vehicle warrants, and Tuesday morning, crescent wrench, shovel, and sand. That should be referring to his truck. Then family interviews, I guess with Frankie here, some warrants, the McCoy interview, social media freeze, and then it talks about Nikki last interview, on camera interview, when did it start? I'm sure many folks have seen those interviews. Some notes about the lazy dog, and then some other just names written. Will continue. These next ones I'll rotate, but it's really regarding where people are, what they're going to be assigned to in terms of officers. So here's the neighborhood canvas, which is mainly Herbert and Albert. Then they have the dog track, Perez and Lines. They have the investigation, Baumhover and Walsh, and the house is Lindsay and I guess Paul. I'll rotate back. The roadside canvas. Then Nikki's listed as a in geoscience with Anadarko. We'll keep going here. And some Walmart, some financials from Walmart. Again, go back to these if you want to see all of them. We have neighborhood canvas, sightings, video, media press release. And then we have a number of names written here, police officers. We keep going on to 148. Some additional notes here. Lazy Dog again. Crescent Wrench again. So girlfriend interview. So let's see. Out of state interviews. Thrive people interviews. Okay, we'll continue. Does it show when his phone was shut off? That was a note. Okay, keep going here. I'm going to skip these. Again, these are just some handwritten notes that are tough to read at times. Another reference here to the Vivint warrants. So they definitely went after everything they could with Vivint. It seemed like, if they had warrants for it. So, we may never know what they have, and certainly don't want to see that kind of stuff if they do. Vehicle warrants, more family interviews, and so on. Interview with McCoy. If you haven't listened to some of those interviews, I really strongly encourage you to. They're very interesting. Listening to some of the coworkers, you get a little bit of a different side, right? Peer support, social media, Lazy Dog. More of this from Egan. Bloodhound search. I like that he calls them bloodhounds. Formal interview recorded, same over and over and over. I guess that's a reference to him repeating himself over and over again. Because if you notice, he obviously does that. He uses the same kind of narrative. Marital problems. House conditions. Always that way, meaning the tidiness. And then a tracing software, work and personal. His phones, and then some, let's see, Nicole, RP friend at conference in Scottsdale. It's talking about the Arizona trip. 148 drop off. Chris Watts, Shanann Watts, 8 years, married 2012. Alarm log and alarm system also referenced here. We'll keep going through these notes. Some random things jotted down, things crossed off. Next of kin crossed off. Media. Not sure what that says, but it's all crossed off. Search warrant, house, baby monitor, kids' beds, site. Not sure what that says. Again, these are all crossed off. Charges. Ongoing investigation. Egan writes about a video, 12 a.m. So, a lot of stuff crossed off too. I'm not going to pretend that I can read all of these, so we'll keep going forward. Chris Watts, Shanann Watts, victim, Nicole friend. Okay, these are just some more random notes about things that they were checking on. Noticeably, guns is written here, checked off. I don't know if that means there were, or if that means that they had, just checked off that they looked for them. Media release, news, Facebook, next door. Pharmacy follow-up, hotels in the area, insurance policies, financial records, his and hers. So this is like a to-do list, basically, from Egan. Egan was pretty thorough in listing the things that he needed to take care of and checking them off. So, obviously we were very proud of the police work in this case. And you see the pictures here. The police did this family right, and we're proud of them. We're proud of our police. So I will stop there. That was last on Discovery, page 161. I do apologize if that was a little difficult with the handwritten notes. I did my best. And we will continue next time on Discovery, page 162. So thank you so much again. The continued encouragement is really appreciated. It helps in terms of continuing with all this, which is really been pretty awesome. And we're trying to do it for the right reasons. So we will continue next time, and I hope everyone has a great day.